All right, so today we're going to tackle something pretty big. This question of like, what does it really mean for something to be real?
Right.
And we're not just talking about like, stubbing your toe on a chair leg.
Yeah.
That's real pain.
Sure.
But we're talking about kind of the deeper levels of reality.
Yeah.
Purpose, meaning,
Mm-hmm.
even maybe a connection to something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah, like what's at the heart of it all.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've brought some cool stuff to work with today.
Yeah.
It looks like you've got some personal notes from, sounds like a conversation you were having.
Exactly.
And then a whole compilation of stuff from
Yeah.
like philosophy and even some religious traditions in there.
Yeah, and it all kind of started with this like simple thought that I had
Okay.
about what if true reality isn't just about like physical existence,
Okay.
but it's about purpose and connection.
Mm-hmm.
And so like as an example, just imagine like a withered leaf. Like it's tangible, right?
You can hold
You
it.
can hold it in your hand,
Yeah.
but it's totally separated from the tree. It's
Right.
not contributing to growth anymore.
Right. It's just kind of there.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's a powerful image.
Yeah.
It makes me think of
Yeah.
Heidegger, this philosopher.
Okay.
And he had this idea that existence is actually like a dynamic process.
Okay.
So meaning isn't just like an extra thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it has meaning.
Yeah.
It's actually what defines a thing's reality.
So for the leaf to be like truly real,
Yeah.
it needs to be more than just physically there.
Exactly.
It needs to be a part of that larger process of growth.
Like part of a system. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes me think about your experience as a musician.
Okay.
It's not just about like physically playing the instrument.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the learning, the challenges.
Sure.
It's, how you've grown as a musician over time.
Right.
That's what gives it meaning.
Yeah.
And makes it like a real part of who you are.
Wow. That's a really good connection.
Yeah.
And speaking of mind-blowing connections,
Okay.
my notes then took a turn toward like the spiritual side of things.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what we were just talking about, like the leaf, that's definitely like philosophical.
Yeah.
But then when you bring in the spiritual dimension,
Yeah.
like these excerpts you've got here,
Right.
it just adds a whole other layer.
Yeah.
Now, we're not, endorsing any particular belief system here.
Right, of course.
But it's just super interesting to me
Yeah.
to see how these different traditions,
Yeah.
everything from Chinese philosophy to Christian thought, how they grapple with this idea
Right.
that aligning with a higher purpose,
Okay.
like that's the key to understanding what's really real.
Yeah, and some of the phrases from these texts like really jumped out at me.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Like one of them says, what resonates with divine purpose holds true significance.
Okay.
And then another one talks about how pursuits that deviate from this essence are ultimately like void.
Wow.
And it just makes you wonder,
Yeah.
are we chasing after things that feel real in the moment,
Yeah.
but ultimately lack that,
That deeper meaning.
that deeper meaning?
Yeah. It's a huge question.
It is.
And I mean, based on these sources,
Yeah.
they would suggest that anything that's not built on a relationship
Okay.
with the eternal, however you define that,
Yeah.
ultimately it's meaningless.
Wow.
It's like that leaf again,
Okay.
right? It might physically exist,
Right.
but without that connection to the tree,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah, it's just there.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got this idea that like purpose and meaning and connection are all part of what makes something truly real.
Yeah.
But then my notes took a turn
Okay.
that even I didn't see coming.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Virtual reality. You went there.
I did.
It's like you knew we were heading into this territory
Yeah.
where it gets even harder
Right.
to separate what's real and what's not.
Exactly. And I was thinking about how these days, we've got VR, the metaverse,
Right.
all these experiences that aren't real
Yeah.
in like the traditional sense, but
Yeah.
can feel so real
Yeah.
and so impactful.
Right.
And it just made me wonder, like,
Yeah.
does our definition of reality like need to change
Totally.
to include these digital realms?
It's such a good question, and it's one that a lot of people are asking.
Yeah.
And, our sources actually
Yes.
offer some really interesting insights on this.
Okay.
They suggest that, like, the realness of a virtual experience comes down to
Yeah.
what it conveys.
Okay.
So, like, think about educational games
Yeah.
that can immerse you in, like, historical events
Right.
or, films that leave a lasting impact.
Right.
They might not be real in the sense that, you can physically touch them,
Right.
but they're carrying truth,
Okay.
values, emotions, insights.
Yeah.
That can totally change
Right.
our understanding of the world.
It's like that saying,
What is it?
all truth is God's truth.
Oh, yeah.
Like, meaning we can find these profound truths in unexpected places.
Totally.
A sacred text or a nature documentary or even like a fictional story.
Exactly. And the sources even connect this to
Yeah.
a kind of a fascinating concept from physics,
Okay.
quantum mechanics.
Oh, okay. This is where I start to get a little lost.
Yeah. So quantum mechanics can be
Yeah.
a little mind-bending.
Yeah, it's a bit out of my comfort zone.
So, like, imagine this.
Okay.
Instead of thinking about the world
Yeah.
as, like, made up of solid objects
Yeah, okay.
with fixed locations, what if reality is actually
Yeah.
more about possibilities
Okay.
and probabilities?
Okay.
So at the most fundamental level, things aren't so clear-cut.
Right.
It's almost like our everyday perception
Yeah.
of, like, a solid fixed reality
Yeah.
is just a snapshot
Right.
of something way more complex and fluid.
So instead of thinking about reality as like this static, predetermined thing,
Exactly.
it's more like this constantly evolving sea of potential.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's such a good way to put it.
Okay.
And it actually ties back to what we were talking about earlier
Yeah.
with purpose and meaning,
Okay.
right? Because if reality itself
Yeah.
is fundamentally about possibilities rather than just fixed outcomes,
Right.
then our choices and actions become even more important,
Okay.
right? We're not just navigating like a predetermined path.
Right.
We're actually shaping reality
Yeah.
through our intentions
Wow.
and our engagements.
That's kind of empowering,
It is.
but also a little daunting.
For sure.
It's like we have a much bigger role to
Yeah.
play in creating our reality.
Exactly. And this is where
Yeah.
things like VR and the metaverse
Right.
become super relevant,
Okay.
right? Because they're further blurring the lines between the real and the virtual.
Yeah.
And they're forcing us to ask, like,
Yeah.
okay, so what does real even mean
Right.
in a world where we can have these profound experiences
Right.
and connections in digital spaces?
It reminds me of those studies they've done where they show that people can form like real bonds and relationships online,
Right.
even if they never
Like never meet.
meet in person.
Yeah, totally.
Or how VR is being used to treat things like phobias and PTSD
Yeah.
by like creating these safe environments
Right.
to confront
Yeah.
fears and traumas.
Those are such good examples.
Yeah.
It really highlights how
Yeah.
even virtual experiences can have a real impact on our thoughts, our feelings, our behaviors.
So the line between like real and virtual,
Yeah.
it becomes less about the medium
Right.
and more about like the depth and authenticity of the
Yes.
experience.
Yeah, it's like we're being asked to expand our understanding of what's real to include these digital realms.
Where does that leave us?
That's the
It's
question.
like, does it all just become this one big blended reality?
It's a fascinating question, and it leads to like an even more mind-blowing possibility.
What's that?
What if like our physical reality,
Yeah.
the one that we experience with our senses,
Mm-hmm.
is just one layer
Okay.
of a much grander, multi-dimensional reality
Okay.
that we're only just starting to even understand.
Whoa, that's like next level.
And right, yeah.
Like everything we experience, physical or virtual, is just like a piece of this much larger cosmic tapestry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But if that's true,
Yeah.
doesn't that make it even harder
It does.
to figure out what's real?
For sure.
I mean, maybe that's not even the point, you know?
What do you mean?
Like maybe it's not about trying to like pin down real.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more about like embracing the mystery and just constantly expanding our understanding of what's even possible.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
This whole deep dive has really been about
Yeah.
challenging those rigid definitions of real and not real,
Right.
and like opening ourselves up to a more, expansive view.
Yeah. It feels like we've peeled back
Oh, yeah.
a lot of layers today.
Yeah.
We started with this question of like,
Right.
is true reality about more than just like physical existence?
Mm-hmm.
And then we got into purpose and meaning
Yeah.
and even this connection to like something bigger.
Right. And we saw how those ideas like show up across
Different philosophical traditions,
Right.
spiritual traditions.
interpersonal experiences.
Exactly.
Of that powerful film
Mm-hmm.
or forming those connections online.
Yeah, all pointing towards this
Yeah.
reality that's way more than just the physical.
Right, and then there's like the whole mind-bending world of quantum mechanics.
Oh, yeah.
Which suggests that reality itself might be more about possibilities and probabilities than like fixed outcomes.
Yeah, I know it's a lot to take in.
It is.
But I think the main takeaway is that,
okay,
our understanding of what's real, it's always changing.
Right.
It's not about finding like the one right answer.
Right.
It's about embracing the mystery.
Yeah.
And just keep exploring.
So if we like accept that, that reality is this multi-layered, ever-evolving thing,
right?
How does that change how we live?
I mean, that's the big question, right?
It is a big question.
It really invites us to think about how this like expanded perspective might change how we approach challenges, successes, even those virtual experiences that are becoming so common.
Yeah. And if reality is more about meaning and purpose than just what we can see and touch, it's like our choices, they carry a lot more weight.
They do more weight than we realize.
Yeah.
It's like we're not just passive observers anymore.
Right.
We're actually participants.
Yeah. We're shaping it.
We're shaping reality.
Yeah. Wow.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive today, I want to leave you with one last thought.
Okay.
What if you like fully embraced this expanded view of reality that we've been talking about?
Yeah.
One that includes purpose, meaning connection.
Yeah.
That infinite potential from quantum mechanics.
Yeah.
How would that change your perspective on your own life?
Yeah.
On your goals, the choices that you make every day?
Wow. That's,
yeah.
That's powerful.
It is, right?
It's like you're giving us a whole new set of lenses.
A new way to see the world.
See the world.
And our place in it.
Wow. Well, this has been an incredible journey.
It has.
So thanks for joining us.
Of course.
And to all of our listeners out there,
keep
those minds open.
Yeah, keep asking those big questions.
We'll be back next time.
We will.
With another deep dive.
Another one.
Into a topic that's sure to
spark your curiosity.
Until then, keep exploring.
And keep questioning.
We'll see you soon.